this work. Help me to bring it to completion.
Hello, and welcome back to the Firebird Homestead channel. Really excited to have you. If you're new here, welcome. Today's subject is going to be fun because it's a new thing, and I have a lot of things to show you. Plumbing is our subject for today. So join us as we talk about not only our things that we got for plumbing, how we're going to route it, and all those such items. So roll tide. Okay, so first let's talk about what products we're using. So we are using PEX A piping, which you can see here, both 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch. We are using shark bite fittings for the majority of things, and then adapting into that from the outside inlet, water inlet. You need some threaded adapters there, and then, for example, water heater needs some threaded stuff. So we're majority hitting everything with PEX and shark bite fittings, and then adapting to whatever we need as far as hot water heater, sinks, all those things. And this is not 100% of what I need to get. This is the rough-in of water. So I'm gonna get water lines to where they need to go for individual features, and then we'll get the connections based off of what sink, faucet we get, depending on the toilet fittings, all those specific fittings, we're gonna basically get later and pop out on with shark bite fittings as well. Okay, so there's a lot of detail work that I'm probably gonna have to show you after the fact, but I'm gonna try to cover a few things. So this is our inlet, water inlet. So this part right here will be between the wall. So just imagine that the garden hose from the outside will get attached right here into this little threaded connector. Then it adapts into brass, goes to a ball valve. You can shut it off. I will have this accessible. This will come in underneath the kitchen sink, which then the kitchen sink starts, and then everything to the back of the bus, it will be water. There's no water kind of in front of the stove in that area. So kind of like splits down the middle and then sends it only one way. Anyway, then goes into 3/4 inch PEX line for this stuff right here. Have a various amount of 1/2 inch and 3/4, a little bit more of a blue because that's the trunk line that goes all the way down. On that note, 3/4 inch PEX line, this is PEX A pipe, will get used as the trunk line all the way down. And then once we hit like individual features, like say the kitchen sink, I have these special adapters that have 3/4 on each side. In fact, let me just open this up for you guys. So this side and this side is 3/4, and then this is 1/2. So if you imagine, it'll be sitting like this, main line will come through here, and then this will stick out the wall with a little like 6-inch, probably less in the end, but stub out, and then the individual feature outlet will get plugged in on that. So trunk line 3/4 inch, and then everything except for the water heater, which is going to get fed directly with 3/4. So yeah, that's about it. As far as the basics, I've got a lot of different 3/4, 3/4, 3/4, which will just, these are for the water heater. And then you got some angles, which I have to go around, excuse me, a few things to go into the back where I can stub it off for the fresh water. Just a little cap here, and then some 1/2 inch for when I go into the wall for where the bathroom toilet and sink is, because it'll stub out into the wall with one of the adapters to 1/2 inch, and then from there it will be used just 1/2 inch fittings from there. So got some various things like the cutter. This is a special tool that you use to measure depth and like deburr and all that stuff, so that make sure that things go on really nice. And then you've got, of course, the little clips so you can take it off if you need to. And then this is just another brass adapter for getting it up to the water heater. And then talking about water heater stuff, here we have our water heater like service valves and such. You have a drain valve, which will go off of I believe this fitting right here, and then another one right here. So you can service and attach stuff to it and make sure it's running good, all that. Kind of an expensive kit. They did have it in Sharkbite, but I would have had to get copper line because you can only have, you have to have 18 inches by code of metal or brass or some kind of metal pipe. You can't have plastic pipe closer than 18 inches, technically by code, to a hot water heater, instant hot water heater. So, and then a little hole saw for getting it in the wall and through the walls. So I think I've covered everything except for some clips so I can nail those down and secure it to the wall. Let me show you the route we're taking and some of the things. So show you really quick. Water's gonna come in mid-sink or a little bit to the left. I think I kind of want to have it mid-window, so it'll be like right around here. And then it'll actually run the length down that way. And then hit, this wall right here, come in, toilet, and then sink. We'll have obviously cold and hot water. So the line that runs along this, like I said, is the trunk line. It's 3/4 inch. And then the individual lines, like I'll have that special adapter that adapts down to, this 1/2 inch, so it'll be right here. And then this will have a little stub out, obviously. And then whatever connection and such, I'll probably get Sharkbite as well because they make those for the sink. Water, I'll connect right to that. So, and then there'll be a little access hatch to get in here and make it look, nice, but also have access to my shutoff valve. So another thing is we just ordered. In fact, we have them, but we're just not going to build them yet until we need to. And well, all this dirty work's done because this place is very dirty right now. We have our safe base cabinet and our corner cabinet, which is not a traditional corner cabinet. It's actually not corner shaped. So imagine you have basically your regular kitchen cabinet, and imagine you put this here, but you only have a door right here. Now you wonder, how can I get into the corner? Well, we got a very special one that may or may not have a slide out. So that's something I'm very excited to build at some point. That'll be a separate video. So yeah, and then just really quickly, obviously trunk line coming this way, some water spouts here. It'll come in here and then come into this wall and then go up for shower and down for bath. And we might also put one in this area right here to have a dual shower head situation. Really nice. And then water will come either down and follow this and go up into that space, or it'll go continue that way and into this space for the freshwater tank. And other than that, no other water features up in this area on this wall, except for one exception where there might be a connection for the fridge, but we're not sure about that yet. So we can always add that in later before we close up the walls and ceiling. And then past this portion, really, there's nothing water related up there. So this is all we have to do, this long run into the walls and all that. So I'm gonna get started. Okay, so I have my hole, inch hole. This is 3/4. It fits through pretty tight, so I'm gonna have to probably widen it a little bit to really get it in. But here's my valve. I have them all thread taped together, and it's gonna go in just like this. Boom, and then yeah, just like that, essentially. So, all right, let's do it. Okay, so lots to unpack here. Here is our water heater, and I got trunk line done to the water heater. It needs to go another, say 15 feet, and then connect to the shower on both sides and such. And I need some fittings. That was the reason I stopped. I needed a couple of, it has 3/4 on both sides, and then, or two sides, and it comes out of the wall in 1/2 inch. So I need like 4 or 5 more of those. So gonna have to get those at some point. But here we have our, I'll take this off so it's a little more obvious. Cold water, it all is connected up here. We have some service valves here. There's a shut-off valve, and then you take off this cap, and you can essentially, you could essentially pipe it out somewhere else. And I don't know why you'd want to do that. It's probably just for testing purposes, although you could test it with your faucets. So, and then it comes out. This is a pressure relief valve. This is going to get piped in. I need another fitting for this. It's going to get piped and go underneath the bus straight down. Hot water is going to be like right here above, and it's going to run both ways for the shower and for the kitchen sink, and obviously connect into the bathroom sink right here. Have that line partially done, stubbed out over here. It's just going to need to poke into the fitting. And then I am thinking we're going to do a pot filler, so I am thinking ahead about angles and such for that. So yeah, so now I just have to get a couple more fittings, and I should have enough PEX line, hopefully. I just finished up the installation on the ceiling. My phone died, so I couldn't record some of the stuff. But yeah, we're kind of at a place where we're getting close to finished with, honestly, pretty close to finished with water and electrical, which means we're gonna be able to close up the walls pretty darn soon. Friday, which is the video gonna come out after. I think in this video, we're gonna have some spray foam. So that should be in a little bit. So, but I'm gonna finish up this tomorrow, and we'll get, and then we'll move on to other stuff, like we do, continually. Exciting. Day 2 of plumbing. I've got the rest of my connections to get our rough in. Now they didn't have all of the special type, which I will show you here, that I needed. So I had to kind of like reconfigure a couple sizes. So what I really needed was 4 of these types, where it's 3/4, 3/4, and a 1/2 inch, excuse me. What I did instead was I got a couple of 3/4 all around tees, and I'm just gonna use this, and then we'll bring it in, and then we'll do a different connection at the end to go to 1/2 inch. So requires a couple more fittings, but not really, because you're gonna have to have angles and stuff in there. Anyway, got a couple of pieces, some more. One of these threaded is for the water, the hot water, I think, go into the pipe to PEX from threaded. And then this threaded one is for the drain that's gonna go through the floor and down and under. So yeah, we're gonna just get started and try to get the rest of it finished today. All right, this is like day 2 or 3 of this video. Gonna be a long one, but today we're gonna be exploring a new product, a wide spray foam by Beast USA. It's a full stop foam insulation, spray insulation. Comes in these big old cans here. They boast up to 20 foot, and they said squared, of board feet. Lock-in temperature and sound. So pretty big can. These are bigger than the it's great stuff. Wide spray foam, and it's also blue, I believe. So different color. Their kit also came with their nozzle. Has a little adjuster on the back. You can turn it off, or you can adjust with how much, because a little spray can give like a little spritz into tight spaces, and then more like that kind of a trigger pull will get a nice wide pattern. Gonna mess around with it, gonna play with it. Does come with a cleaner for the nozzle, and let's see, goggles, a Tyvek suit or some kind of protective suit, which I'll be wearing. Some gloves, which I have some other ones, and then 12 cans. I got 12 of these in the cans as well. I gotta figure out where I put all those. Let's see here. There are these tips, and I believe this black one is a more finer tip, and then this blue one. Actually, I think this is for like ceilings, and this is for just walls. So I'm gonna read all the instructions and go over this. You have to shake it, the can, like 30 to 60 seconds. Has to be room temperature. I've been having the wood stove on, and they're kind of close-ish enough that they can get some of that radiant heat and start warming up. So we're gonna go into this and start trying it out. I have a lot of different places I wanna hit, but I'm not sure how long it's gonna last me. So let's see how long it lasts me. And I think we're good. We have it all on. So we're gonna shake this can up. We're gonna get our first one done. So I'm just gonna shake it up before I even mess with it. Okay, so I got my temperature check gun. I've got my wheel spray gun. The thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit some of these areas here. So what I'm gonna do is do a quick misting around. Ah! I don't know if it's like, I'm not doing it up there yet, but I will do it up here. Anyway, I think that's good, honestly. There's another area you can't see. All right, now we're gonna do it. We're gonna check this can's like at least 68. So 30 seconds of this, and then we pick our nozzle tip type and all those things. Shake, shake, shake. I only have 30 minutes of video space on here, so I'm not careful using all of it up. All right, now what they say is spin it all the way clockwise. All right, you can't pull the trigger at all. Insert, and I'm gonna just treat it like a gun, don't point the tip of your face. Okay, and then they say use this black tab and securely fasten it in. Fasten it in. Okay, now let's pick the type of tip we want. I think we want this guy. That's it, just feels like it. All right. Now it's a fat fan pattern like that. All right, and then we're gonna do 2 spins, 2 like, so that's like 1, 2. So let's try it. I'm gonna do a little here. Whoa. Dang. That did not like that over there. I don't know why. Maybe it's too wet. All right, let's see. Maybe that's kind of a little zealously with the. It's also a little bit dusty. I didn't realize. So maybe that's my problem. Okay, now if I twist it, my tip should be angled now. Yeah, interesting. Now I'm going to twist it the right a little bit. Oh, a little too wet. Maybe a little more. Narrow it up a little bit. Yeah. Now, I'm not sure if I should do this. Go along in these extra areas. Wow, alright, well, hey, it's working. Real nice. I'll say that. Oh, shit. Almost just got into some trouble. Alright, so just went through one can. I got quite a good coat on a lot of this stuff and seemed to work pretty good. So we're gonna try another one. And yeah, we'll see where we get. Got lots of areas to do, so I think we're gonna get it though. Okay, so I've got like 4 or so more cans. Getting this back portion here. The main thing for getting this, we don't want any air gap. There's an air gap between this and the window. It was condensating. The reason I'm covering this window like this is to prevent condensation, which will then ruin things by, well, condensation, moisture, and mold, and all those things. All right, I think we're about good. Make sure the valve's closed. All right. 1, 2, 3. Well, went through 12 cans, and most surfaces are filled. There's definitely gaps. There's definitely stuff that I could fill up better, and I might just do that with regular spray foam. Now that we're kind of like, I don't want to spend, that was $200 for 12 cans with the sprayer. If I was to just get some cans, it probably wouldn't be too bad. So I could always do that, but it's a lot of work to prep for that because the windows have to be very well covered. Otherwise, well, let's just say your windows will be covered with stuff you don't want to cover windows with. But let me show you around and see how coated. All right, starting off, you can see I got some of the metal that was showing up there. Right there, I tried to get in there. It didn't really do too well when I was kind of on my last can. Got I think every one of these, at least, it's a little squishy, covered. So now it's not a metal contact. That's really nice. All of these spots where it was metal are covered. You can see between windows there, down along where it was metal exposed, that's all covered with, ½ inch to inch depending. Behind the bathtub here, got all that. On the metal there, kind of went ham on there, but should be all right. And then of course the back window, it's done the most. Needed to do that so that it can prevent some moisture on the condensation on the window. So yeah, very interesting, very nice. Went on pretty good. This was 12 cans. This, and I'll show you one more spot. So, it's a little bit of a mess. Got some down here, and then if you look underneath, I figured I'd try this. I sprayed on the underside of the staircase, so hopefully that gives me a little bit extra so that I don't have to do such thick sealant or insulation here. So that's about it though. Dang, I'm messy. Okay, I'm gonna try to be short in my explanations here. So we're back at things. This is, obviously a plumbing and insulation video. So I wanted to show you, some more supplies I got. I got some more gap and cracks fillers. This is for windows. I'll show you that up and close and how I do that. Another thing I got recently was a 1/2 inch FIP to 1/2 inch FIP little valve spout and the shark bite fitting for that. And that goes on our toilet. And then we got a sink faucet. This is a P-trap that I'm not actually gonna use, but sink drain, sink faucet. So sink faucets, or bathroom sink faucets, are usually 1.25 inch drain. So that's what this is, 1.25 inch bathroom P-trap, because that's what this little drain is. Smaller holes, less water, all that. And then kitchen sinks are generally 1.5 inch. And then showers, like a stand-up shower, not a bathtub shower, is 2 inch. But this, a bath shower combo, because you have a big wet water reservoir, so you could have a little bit of standing water, tiny bit, a little more forgiving than a standing shower where you might only have 2 inches. Only 1.5 inch, which, 1.5 inch, which is this, compared to 2 inch. And then for our black pipe, we're using 3 inch, and this is all ABS. These are gonna be our drains that go into our tanks. On that note, we ordered our tanks. We have a 50-gallon black water tank that is going to be situated right under here, and I will show you. I have so much room underneath this bus to put tanks. I don't know if I already mentioned this, but I was gonna put the freshwater tank here, but I changed my mind because we have so much room underneath. I could put multiple 100 gallons, at least 100 to 200 gallons underneath the driver's side if I wanted to. There's so much room. It's amazing. I have to be careful about weight and all that, so I'm gonna make sure that we're good there. Anyway, so yeah. A couple other things. We got some different pipes and stuff. These are some fittings for the P-traps, or the 1.25 inch to 1/2 inch, or 1.5 inch, sorry. 1.25 inch to 1.5 inch, and it would basically say this is our T, this would go down to the wall. Now typically you have a vent right here, but I'm getting special HEP VO or HEP V0 valves, and instead of P-traps, which I got this was on sale, so I don't really, whatever. If I use this, great. If I don't use this, great. So the reason why you use that in a bus is a HEP V0 valve, we'll say, is a waterless P-trap with a diaphragm. It's like a silicone diaphragm inside. Imagine just like a section of pipe this big, right? It's like that, but it's got a weird shape to it, and it's smaller probably. I guess this is 2 inch, so yeah, smaller. And then water passes through. It has a one-way valve. It lets nothing up, so no gases, no water, no creatures, all those things, bugs, bees, spiders. And then you don't have to have this thing that goes down, up, and then you have a little thing of where water sits, right? Like in here, this is a traditional, sorry. It's not really easy to see, but maybe you can see right there. That's a traditional P-trap. Y'all probably have seen it under the sink, your kitchen or bathroom. So anyway, on the bathroom sink, the shower or bath shower, and the kitchen sink, we're gonna put those HEP V0 valves because you don't need a vent specifically on that. Like on this, right, I would have it coming, let's see, like this way from the sink. You'd have a P-trap, a traditional P-trap, and then you'd have a T, and it would go up and vent, because if you don't have that, it can siphon out that water, and then obviously the water is what holds back the gases, smells, all that. So that's not good, right? So you need to have those valves. What I don't want to do is make more, holes in this roof if I don't have to. So yes, I'm going to have a vent on each tank. It's required by code, by law, all that, because of black tanks create methane and hydrogen sulfide or cyanide, or one of those. bad stuff. I was gonna swear, but I'm trying not to, in the videos at least. Anyway, so that prevents all that buildup of gases. Gray tank, it's more smells, but you know, you could get similar gases, or at least similar smells in both tanks. So what I'm gonna do is probably have an exterior vent. I might have a sidewall vent that doesn't go protrude past the cab or anything for the gray water tank, but the black water tank has to go all the way up because methane is lighter than air. As you can imagine, if you had anything under the bus, it would then want to rise. So that's all just physics and things that you have to think about. So black tank, vented to the roof. Gray tank could be vented to the sidewall or the roof. I'm probably gonna, you can also combine them, but to combine them, this is another crazy thing, so many crazy things. You need to be above whatever sink trap, even if it's a HEP V0 trap. You can't combine those gray and black tank vent until after the height of that P-trap. So 42 inches off the floor is typical safe height to combine them, and you combine them into it's like a sanitary valve that has two openings, two inlets. So say it's something like this where it has, you know, two and then it goes up into one. I don't know, that's a bad interpretation. This is a long video, but plumbing is a very, there's a lot of stuff to it. So, you know, in a house, they send all the vents to the roof. And in this, you could do that. You just need to make sure you have lots of sealing, good one-way valves on the top so that nothing can get in, all that. So let's get into it. I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna try to actually install this faucet and the connections and kind of start playing with that, but that's probably gonna be a separate video because I don't have the tanks yet. So tanks will be another video. We are going to get into more installation and hopefully some more plumbing, finishing up some of that stuff. And we'll see how this video flies. It could be really long, and I apologize. And I also apologize for things being out late. This is been a crazy week of just getting stuff done, and I have a hard time after a day of work sitting down and editing. So, all right, let's get to it.
Lo-fi vibes, they soothe my soul. In this music I am whole. Grooving on the midnight train. Old school love is back again. Heartbeats sync with vinyls crack. Lost in time, there's no way back.
Okay, so what we have here is a sink ready to install, essentially. We have some 3/8 OD compression valves right here. You just take that piece off and that brass piece out of there. It already has the essentially metal piece the threads on. So color coded, all that, very easy, very nice. Looks nice. It did come with a drain, but it had a, you notice there, it has one of the overflow drains, whereas this one does not. So could not use that even though it would have matched, but still looks pretty nice, I would say. Very nice, easy to install.
In this lo-fi soulful dream, life is more than what it seems.
Okay, so to show you with the windows, you can see I already have some stuff in here. So these are done. This was the blue foam that I had. This is gonna come out a little bit different color, like more of a yellow. And then it expands less than probably this and this. Well, this stuff expands crazy. But basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by getting the rest of those little gaps filled. And then what I'll move on to is any of these spots around the window. because then it will also hopefully not, I don't think it's gonna bend this at all, but in case that it does, this will ensure that it doesn't. So, okay, so you can see over here, I got part of the way done, but did not finish. Now I'm gonna do very slow little trigger pulls. All right, and that will expand a little bit, so that should be good. Checking down on this guy. This guy feels good, but oh shoot, yeah, that's good. That did not. That overshot. All right, and make sure focus and all that. So you can kind of point it forward a little bit, and then you can point it down because there are little gaps. Kind of in between here, just very small ones, but you know, enough. All right, the bottom on that side's done, and then this next window looks completely done except for maybe a little spot in here that just gonna do really quick. Okay, so all of these look to need to be done. So these are very small windows, so one or two little trigger pulls. Okay, so we got a couple things done here. We have our quick connects in toilet. We have, I don't know if you can see it, but our 3/8 for our sink, drain / overpressure valve for the water, hot water heater. Got a bunch more spray foam in the ceilings. Now this is the carnage of spray foam. You fill it up, you try not to do too much, it expands past your framing, you have to cut it off. Very annoying. One trick I'm gonna try is a metal blade on my Sawzall, and should like, you know, should be good. All right, and then our sink right here, looks very nice. That should be able to get go. Excuse me. This should be able to go right around in here. Height-wise, I'm not exactly sure. But yeah, one step closer to getting the bathroom done. Okay, show you this really quick. I've changed up my routing and everything. I have my cold water and hot water over here for the secondary side, for the like detachable shower head. And then it goes down and underneath the bus for our water tanks. It can go, I believe, straight over, and then it should be able to follow the frame rail down. I can route it a couple different ways, but I think this is about it for this video. Next steps are gonna be probably something like getting the tanks in and drilling holes through for each drain, each 4 drains, I guess. 2 sinks, the tub and the black tank, of course. Mounting those, I'm gonna weld them up with some nice solid support stuff underneath. But for now, thanks for watching, guys. Progress is coming quick, so hopefully soon we can start closing up walls. Yeah, thanks for watching.